It looks like the U.S. military has a total of about 7 days to make a miracle happen. I'm trying to bring about some kind of positivity to the entire world, as this is like a level of escapism here on this channel that I try and do for a little bit of entertainment but also informational. So let's just reflect on the hearts and minds that are being won by the U.S. Marine Corps right now. This is what we're talking about. Marines giving out water, taking Doc's advice right here. I don't know if they checked their socks. At least they got half the instructions right. Drink water, change your socks, and I forgot the Motrin thing. But also look at this. You got this little baby here being coddled by a Marine, a natural born killer that probably came out of MCRD. He's a kid. And look at him now. That is a positive silver lining we're seeing from some of the story, as we do have an interview from Sky News. Kind of ironic that they purposely, I feel like, used a woman journalist from a Western country for this. But it's with some of the T-Band, that's the shortened version of this, one of the representatives, which has an entire interview for about 2 minutes that says this.
If the US or the UK wanted to extend the 31st of August deadline in order to continue evacuations out of the country, would you agree to that?
No.
Why not?
This is something, you can say it's a red line. President Biden announced this agreement that until 31st of August they would withdraw all their military forces. So if they extend it, that means they are extending occupation. While there is no need for that, I think it will deteriorate the relation, that will create mistrust between us. If they are intent on continuing the occupation, so it will provoke a reaction.
I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you want to see more content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also helps us out to our next goal of 150,000 subs, and notification bell, that way you get reminded of the next. So let's talk about mistrust for 1 second, okay? If we look back at history of this organization, again, I'm bleeping out the words from this, I will tell you, it is clearly understood that there's been plenty of mistrust. Let's just look at 9 to the, 11. Put those numbers together. I think you have a reason to mistrust. You've never held up any of the end of your bargains or whatever. On top of that, if we are literally taking any consideration negotiating with these guys, it's baffling me. I can't believe that these guys are getting press time. Imagine if this happened 20 years ago in 2001, 2002. They would have been hiding in caves. They would have never even came out. It's almost like having amnesia right now. I don't know why we would even give them the platform or leverage to even say anything.
Let's talk about the situation at the airport. People are very afraid of what life may look like under your rule. People are prepared to leave everything behind. They're prepared to risk their lives to leave the country. What would be your message to them?
First, I assure you, it is not about their worry and not about their scare. This is about they want their demand to resettle in Western countries, and that is a kind of economic migration, because a poor country and 70% of the people of Afghanistan are living under the line of poverty. So everyone wants to resettle in Western countries to have a prosperous life. So that is. It is not about scare. Of course, for their justification to go there, they exaggerate, scare, and terrified, and so. So we know the Afghans. This is our society. This is not the fact they are scared.
They're not scared. Okay, all right. Let's just put these pieces of the puzzle together. So you think this footage that was captured of rounds going down a street was just captured by people running the ditches that were just not scared of your organization and what they're doing at their checkpoints? And you love hearing how he's like, they just want the financial economic gains from this. I'm like, but you just said they're living below poverty line of Afghanistan. Not even of the United States. I have to bleep that out now. You have to imagine, if they are living below that level, you're already saying, will they be able to eat, have shelter, etc.? Basic necessities of life. On top of that, during this interview, you as the representative that is supposedly trying to bring your organization to look better, you have provided no reassurance that there would be any economic gain for the country as a national level at all, which, again, we're just going to say you're going to stick to your history and be corrupt and selfish as you've always been. Especially as you guys likely are going to control trade, labor, all these other things. Who can work, who can be educated. Like, on top of that, let's just say, not only did the rounds go down that street, but people are literally off of planes. Like, off of plane. Like, put that in your head. It's crazy to me. They just wanted a free ride, man. It's hard to imagine these two worlds of East and West colliding because the mindsets are totally opposite.
We're hearing reports of members of the going door to door looking for people like journalists, like members of the judiciary, former government workers. We're hearing that girls' schools have been closed in some provinces. What are you doing about that?
All fake reports.
I was shown
If anyone is, as you say, and we investigate every incident, who is going door to door, he himself will be prosecuted and tried and punished, because that is a violation of our policy. But I can assure you, there are many reports by our opponents claiming what is not based on realities.
Ah, yes, right here. He goes for the fake news rebuttal. That's not truth. Those people would be held accountable. That's fake news. That is like the easiest comeback of 2020, whatever, without actually explaining how anything is actually fake news. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to say there's not propaganda that does occur. It does, obviously. I don't think these reports would be coming out if it wasn't historically known either that this did happen how many years before the U.S. was even there as well.
And as we now approach the date for American, British, foreign forces, soldiers to leave Afghanistan, what would you say to the families of those who died trying to help Afghanistan?
I first of all say they occupied our country. If we occupy your country, what you will say to me? If I killed your people in your country, what you will say? I think our people suffered a lot, bloodshed, destruction, everything. But we say the past is the past story, a part of our past history. Now we want to focus on future.
This should not even be a case or judgment of if we're going to be out on the 31st. We are the United States of America. The question should be, do we have everybody out? Because we're going to make sure that happens before anything else. You know, as this is all unfolding, I'm not sure that we're going to even see that silver lining as far as this goes. Like, yes, we occupied, but at the same time, remember that guy that was like a kind of a big figurehead that was kind of responsible for the lives of around 3,000 people being lost on one specific day? You guys did not give that guy up. So what were we supposed to do? Just say like, screw it? No, there was going to be some accountability. You were dealing with the United States. And the fact we even dealt with you back then or even thought about it to try and get anything done is crazy to me. But you mentioned if someone took lives of people in your country, what about all those lives that you took in ours? You know, remember those people? That's why we were occupying your country. So he does paint this as a quotations red line and saying the August 31st date is the final date at which people should be allowed in the country to be able to be evacuated, things like that, as far as U.S. military troops being in the country itself. And it makes you question how much more is the U.S. military going to be able to do. Obviously, we're seeing, again, in the beginning of the video, some hearts and minds being won, but obviously not every heart or mind will be saved from this, and that's just understood as this task of, I believe it's been quoted around a little over 100,000 people have been wanting to get out of the country, and it looks like U.S. military resources have only allowed for about 6,000 per day. You're looking about over the next 7 days, so we're going to say about, 42,000 people. It means as far as U.S. forces being able to get all these people out, does that include allied forces? There's been no specifics as far as that goes. My thoughts on this are, It is a matter of if the U.S. is going to have enough time in order to pull these people out. And if not, we better find a way to do it, because if there's any recuperation of making this look any better, this is the only way to do it, is to ensure we get the job done, even if it's messy in the beginning. If you start off weak, you at least got to finish strong, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because I honestly think this will go past August 31st. What do you think in regards to the forces that are already there, and if they will be attacked, and what happens in that exchange right there? Because that will bring a whole new debacle and a whole new can of worms if there is another engagement that does occur. So I would appreciate your feedback and thoughts on that down in the comments below. But as always, if you appreciate what we do on this channel, you can always support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. On top of that, we have a YouTube link, join button below this for special perks and benefits as well. As always, if you guys have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.